Oh man, what's up, everybody? Ryan, ATX Metal Podcast on the second episode of a Sunday. We're triple booked and we're powering through. Go ahead, introduce yourself, what you do in the band, where you're from, and then we'll just kind of go from there.
My name's Phil. I play guitar and from Austin, Texas.
Yeah, man. Dave Revere, drums. Um, from Austin, originally New York, but been in Austin for a while now.
Gotcha. I apologize, guys. This is Hammerthrone. I just didn't even just cruise right over the band name.
It's not the important part.
Yeah,
it's not needed. We're just here for the people. Thank you guys very much for joining me. I am a new fan of Hammerthrone, but I know through speaking with people like Chuck Loesch and other people in the scene, you guys have definitely been around for a little bit. So I guess whoever wants to take it, Phil, Dave, or maybe we can just go. Phil, we'll start with you. Give us like your journey from I started here and now I'm here, just a condensed version, and then same for you, Dave, and then we'll just kind of groove into the new EP that just got released.
Boy. So I guess about 20 odd years ago, I moved to Austin, Texas. I started out jamming with Mike DeLeon and Disfigured. And then we were in another project called prowess for a while. I've written a bunch of kind of personal stuff, like home recorded things that are kind of on the internet. One was a concept album for Cicadas, which is about Dante's trip through hell. And I've got a black metal project I did called Passage. I've got two albums for an instrumental melodic band called Brunenberg. And then I was in Holy Bethlehem for about a part of a decade, and then Forebode. And then Forebode has kind of transitioned into Hammerthrone. And that's kind of where we're at.
Man, that is quite the Wikipedia entry, my friend.
He's
Many
at
links.
home. He's been around.
Yeah, I get around.
Oh man. Well, Dave, what about you, brother?
Yeah, man. Yeah, grew up in New York.
Shout out Knicks, maybe? You Knicks fan?
Man.
Okay.
Sick. That was a sick series. Yeah, and I'm the old guy in the band, I guess, but I came up sort of like, the Maiden, that kind of stuff, loved Maiden, played in bands that were doing that kind of stuff. And then when thrash came around, I was in a bunch of thrash bands, one band for quite some time. But that was, way, way long ago, and just kind of playing around. And then when the New York hardcore scene started to become a thing, I started playing in bands that were sort of in the same circle, running in the same circle as like Leeway, Sick of It All, those kind of guys, Agnostic Front, playing places with those guys. Yeah, I mean, playing in the studios in Manhattan, like next room over from Prong, things like that. And just kind of kept going and going and going. And then kind of life happens. You get married, you have kids, all that. We eventually moved here to Austin. And yeah, I was always looking for something here, and kind of just fell into the Forebode thing. I can't remember if it was TJ or Phil who found me, but we kind of linked up, and I heard what they were doing. And I said, man, this is kind of cool. This would be like another great thing. Cause I was starting to listen to more stuff like that, more doomy stuff, death doom, things like that. I got with these guys, and it was, at least for me, Phil's probably going to be like, I don't know about that. No, I'm kidding. But I was just like, they were just cool right away. And we kind of felt comfortable immediately. And we started playing with the Forebode stuff. And then, yeah, a couple of changes thrown at us along the way. And then we started doing the Hammerthrone stuff. And Phil pulled out some cuts he had in the hopper there that were just awesome. And I said, no, we got to start doing that stuff. And that's how we wound up here.
Yellow backstory on that. It's so I had recorded original demo tracks for what became Hammerthrone in about 2013. So I had them kind of like,
those have been on the shelf for a while, Phil.
Yeah. So I was feeling heavily inspired by Bloodbath and kind of old like obituary type stuff, and
Okay.
HM2 pedals, and just getting some that stuff. But some of the songs are on the EP, other ones are yet to come, and other ones have been kind of picked apart, some riffs here and there. But yeah, like it's kind of cool that like, hey, these things that have been on the shelf for like 13 odd years suddenly get to breathe, and it's pretty awesome.
I love when I talk to bands and they say, oh, I was out at the drive-through and I had this thing and they, mouth it into a memo or, whatever. And and I just keep thinking to myself, like, what did you do before you had a device that you could just kind of like what what did you do? Because I'm not for preface, I don't play music. I'm not an instrumentalist. That's just for looks, okay? um, but what how did you get the ideas in your head, you know, and basically put on the back burner, you know, back in the day?
We lost a lot of stuff. I used to
Yeah,
have this
it's
great riff. I had this awesome riff I came up with like two weeks ago.
so
Can't
I've got a
remember
good
it.
theory. I've got a good theory about that. So if you have a riff and play it, and then like you still remember that riff like three
Probably a
weeks
good riff.
later after not really jamming it, like you probably got something
I
worth
got you.
holding on to. But for me, like some of the stuff I prattled off earlier were all very much like me by myself, like drum programming, recording. So I would just be like on
Ah,
my computer, kind of jamming these things out.
I got you.
Um, and then so it's just sort of, and the ones that are, I feel like are good or have any meat and potatoes to them, like I remember them and they kind of percolate a lot in my head. And sometimes when I'm chilling, like before I go to bed or something like that, like I play the songs through in my mind. And
Mhm.
sometimes I make adjustments in my mind. And then like, I'll try and fuddle with the guitar later and be like, this changed like that, maybe like this. It just kind of evolves from there. And that's before it ever gets to Dave,
Sure.
Luke, and TJ. And we pick it apart and put it back together in different ways sometimes.
Oh yeah, I should ask who are the other members that are not joining us, and what do they do?
Nobody else. It's just filling up. Yeah.
They don't matter. Who cares?
So there's TJ and Luke. Luke, we hit up shortly after we played with them. So Forebode played with Void Witch as like a comeback show a couple years ago.
Okay.
I'm fans of Void Witch, and
Shout out
when
to Void
TJ, yeah, and when TJ and Dave and I were talking about getting a bass player, TJ was like, "I'll just talk to Luke, see if he's into it." And yeah, so we just kind of brought him in. He was like, "Yeah, it sounds cool," and away we went. So like we went from jamming at the end of November 2025 to having the EP recorded by what, March?
Awesome. It was so great.
Yeah, I was just looking at the release. I think it was like March of this year is when the album came out, and forgive me for not knowing with the exact song that I played on the Texas Takeover, but I know that for me, doom, sludge, thrash, that wasn't. I didn't grow up with it. I mean, I'm 43. Grew up in the middle of North Carolina, so it's,
Exactly.
ZZ Top and Led Zeppelin and, lot of Phil Collins. A lot of Phil Collins. Not that there's anything wrong. I love
All
Phil.
good stuff, man.
Yeah.
It's all good.
And
Stuff.
and I actually was just talking with another guy, Andy Flores from the Hive down in San Antonio, Rockbox. He was, we were just kind of going down memory lane, and I didn't have the experience growing up of like going to shows and being a part of a community because I literally lived in the middle of the woods. So now that I have, I'm here. I've been here 16 years, been grinding and being a part of the scene. I will say that it has taken about 5 years for thrash to grow on me to where instead of me just kinda like, "Oh, okay, I'll tolerate this," now I'm like, "Okay, I need some fucking speed metal in my life. I need some nasty riffs, some long solos, some." And then that transitions into, like, one of my favorite bands is Tibetan Sky Burial here out of Austin, Ed and Ricky, the gang, and now you kinda once you start narrowing down, you really get into some really cool fucking music, man,
Yeah.
and I'm just sad that I didn't get turned on to it or, kinda more or less fall in love with it sooner. So, that's why I love having, guys like you on to explain, like, can you just tell me what is it that you love about the music that you create and what you're trying to I know you told me why you make the music, but, like, what's in it? What are you trying to produce for the fans, for the listeners? Anybody can take that.
I mean, well, as a drummer, for me, Phil and I think one of the reasons why it worked right away when we started jamming together, even with Forebode, was as a drummer, you evolve. Like you play. Like I loved Zeppelin. I lived for Zeppelin and Bonham and all that stuff. The groove, man. As a drummer, if there's no groove, your whole brain as a drummer, I think since birth is just like time, and everything's kind of swaying and moving around you. At least for me, unless I'm just psychotic. But and and as things go on, it gets heavier and heavier and heavier. And people are getting heavier. The vocals are getting growlier. The guitars are getting more distorted. And then I feel like, and Phil and I kind of talked about this a lot, so for the drums to get heavier, they started getting faster. And then they got so fast that to me, it was a bell curve. It got less heavy, so you're like bashing away. And then all of a sudden you're just nonstop. And then it's just kind of like, it's linear. And then you're like, well, where's the heavy? And then we found every time we would hear music, as soon as they would break down, and you see it with crowds, people just explode when you break it down to a groove where you can move. So we try to make sure that Phil and I check each other. He checks me all the time. He'll be like, maybe just play that straight. Maybe we're just making it too complicated unnecessarily. And then we play it straight and we look at each other. We're like, yeah, I'm like banging my head. I'm swaying. That's where it's at. At least for me, like I think Phil and I are like that.
What about you, Phil?
Yeah, no, I would agree. It's about one of the things I kind of joked about right off the bat is that we want to play the kind of groove-oriented metal that the reluctant girlfriend or wife that came to the show kind of turns their head around in the bar, goes, "Oh, okay,
all right,
yeah, okay, I kind of see what I can feel a pocket in there." Because to Dave's point, I've played in plenty of fast bands. I've written plenty of fast riffs, and it can be exhilarating to do that. But at some point, it kind of flatlines for me, where like if the whole thing is at 110, then I don't know. Then as a fan, I don't know where to sink I've never heard you guys before. Like I don't know where to sink my teeth in,
especially live,
right? Yeah, especially in a live contest, because most times when we're playing shows, right, like people are not familiar with this. That's more the norm than not, right? So like if you and making something that kind of clicks and sticks and get some engagement. TJ is wonderful at like talking to the crowd and then like getting them engaged and stuff like that in a positive way, and that's a really big deal. But yeah, just trying to get engagement in a way that's kind of a culmination of our experience over the years writing this kind of music, dialing in this kind of music, honoring the greats, honoring our histories and stuff like that, not being afraid to mix and match, a little hardcore here with a little thrash there, a little gallop here, a little death metal. Like we're still,
like who cares?
Yeah, right. Like at the end of the day, there's so many different things we pull from musically, and I think that's a good thing, right? So like, and so if you can kind of find that.
Do you remember we were at a show like last year or something, and there was a band on, one of the openers, and they were pretty good, and they were like, then they started to get really technical throughout their set to the point where it was like they were sort of, unfortunately, like morphing. They were breaching over into that world of like, all right, now you're just playing for other musicians, like now it's just like, look what I can do, look how fast I can go. And they started going,
it is impressive.
Technical. They got so technical and so crazy that I started noticing the crowd was like, all right, now's the time to get a drink and go to the bathroom. They zoned out. And I was like, yeah, that's not great. I don't, like, it's cool to look and go, wow, look at that, whoa. But like, okay.
I'll be the first to admit that whenever I get a chance to go to a show, I love being up front, and I've always loved this, like every artist, every photographer has like their style, and the thing that I love to do is kind of like this vertical up whenever the guitar player is just going just nuts, or if I know the song and it's right before the breakdown and the lights are hitting just right and everything's all sexy, and like you said, but then there's times where you're just like, that's a lot. That is, I don't even know what's going on right now, but I'll just stand here and accept it.
And it's impressive, right? Like you understand, like that's very impressive. But sometimes you're like, "Can like hum the riff back to me?" You're like, I can't. I just heard it, and and then they played other riffs after that, and it's gone.
Yeah, like that. That moment in time where you see this just ridiculous sweeping or this picking or this tapping, and you're just like, that took you forever to figure out, and then it's over. But then, like you said, that's the time where people are like, okay, I think it's time for a drink. But what you guys are saying is you guys are keeping people with the groove when you're in the pocket. You're like, stay here and take this.
Yeah.
Like, I love a good live show. I think that is one of the trifectas of becoming a new. You can like on social media, and you can maybe share a flyer or something, but man, just like the wristband says, support local music and go see a show,
Go see a
and
show.
just stand there and just watch people display their art for you, and maybe it might not be your flavor now, like for me, but now Hammerthrone is in my playlist, right? It's a
Thank
part
you.
of this. It's a part of the cycle now. It's discovering new music that I knew was there, but I didn't know I needed. But now that I know that I need it, I want to share it. And being able to riff with you guys about the music that you create is great. So I just want to say from me in the studio, thank you guys for creating the art that you do, and still continuing to actually make good music. So
That's what it's about, man. That's what it's about. Yeah.
it's a tough, it's like I was just talking with Andy, it's hard, sometimes it's hard to kind of, cut through the noise and find some really cool stuff because of all the like fucking AI slop that's out there now. And use it as a tool, like I use it to help me do this and some background stuff. But, when it comes to the editing and the creation, it's like, it's all me. But going and seeing a show live and actually getting to feel like what you guys, I don't know, maybe it's different for other people, but when you guys play and I'm in front of you watching and enjoying, like I feel that. And especially especially if it's got some groove, man, that dan just when the drummer is on and the bass and just everything, just it's glue, and it's like this sweet honey, and you're like, give me more. So
that's what the high is for us. If we see people starting to like nod their heads and get into it, there's nothing like that as a performer. You look at that, you're like, all right, that's why we're doing this. That's why we like this.
Yeah, man.
It's the only way to scratch that itch.
Yeah.
Like it's one of those things where if you haven't been on stage for years or something like that, you become aware of it, and you're kind of like, man, I'd really love to get in front of an energy.
Speaking of
just doing back and forth,
speaking of getting on stage, we got any future shows coming up for you guys?
Yes. So we have August 1st at Valhalla.
Nice.
We have August 20, I want to say 8. It's like the last weekend in August, but we're in Dallas for that one. I think the flyer that's coming together. Yeah, we're playing the Black Cat on the roof, which is gonna be cool.
Wait, Black Cat or Black Hat?
It's one or other. Yeah, I think it's Cat.
Yeah, it's Black Cat Records. Actually, I think it's
Black Cat Records.
Oh. Yeah. And you're playing on a roof
in August.
Yeah, they do their shows on the roof
in August in Dallas. Like,
yeah,
I'm gonna.
I love it.
What are you being paid in? Sunscreen and waters?
Yeah.
That was the request. We'll see if they deliver.
Yeah. Yeah, the next album's going to be called Melanoma.
And then we've also got end of September in Houston.
Okay.
It sounded cool initially. I was like, hey, on a rooftop. And then later I processed it. I was like, August in Dallas.
I think this can be good. Yeah, I'd like to be umbrellas and cover and stuff like that. And if not, then we'll just all die.
Yeah.
We're in it for it anyway.
We'll go viral for dying during that show.
The music is punishing, and so is the weather. It's just
nothing's easy. Nothing's easy.
So, man, okay, great. And I'm assuming that you guys are gonna play. Are you gonna play all basically the new EP through and through? Or are you gonna like mix? Like, is there other stuff that hasn't been released that you guys play live?
Yes.
Yes. Awesome. So even the first show, we played 2 other songs that are not on the EP. That is on YouTube. I love that. You can find it. So, and that was mostly to make sure we had at least like a 25-minute set.
Right.
But we do have other songs we're working on. We've got like 3 or 4 in the hopper that we're actively working through. So yeah, but they are getting mixed and matched. When we play live, we do have samples and, some stage building stuff. We've got a bunch of props and banners and whatnot, lighting and fog, and so
The
we
whole
just try
show.
and it's
Show.
kind of like a culmination of, we've been doing live shows in some form or another, all of us collectively, for years and other projects, right? So we kind of learned like this kind of stuff works, this doesn't work. You're like, oh, I want to make sure I have like scrims for my cabinets, right? So I've got my cabs have like some images that are associated with the band, and kind of like little touches like that that kind of make it feel more professional, kind of right out the gate. Um, because we have that knowledge. We've been doing it for years, right? So it's like it was the first show as the project, not our first show,
Right.
right? So, and I think that came across on our first show, where people are like, oh, okay, they've got their shit together and put on a good show, even though it was the first one.
Yeah.
So we're hoping to maintain that kind of momentum.
No, I think it's kind of cool that, when you see a new project or a new band that have, seasoned veterans in it, and like you just said, like, yeah, the project's new, but we're not. So this is all familiar, and we want to make sure, like, I mean, not everybody has scrims, not everybody has fog machines, or hell, lighting. I mean, it's you have to rely on the venue to, kind of give you, especially the younger guys. Well, I was curious. I wanted to ask Dave. You said that you're from New York. I have a couple contacts up there. What is it if you were to compare, not like downgrade one or the other, but what is the hardcore scene in New York like versus what you've seen down here in Texas?
Yeah. It's funny because like whether I wanted to think about that a lot or not, I just did because because of living the experience. And I started to kind of think about that a lot when I first moved. And then as I stayed here for longer and longer, we're coming up on, it's going to be 9 years eventually. Yeah, I guess in next March, but it's, I mean, it's similar, obviously, because, the music scene is similar, but
Mhm.
there's definitely a different flavor and a different vibe. I mean, New York's got its own vibe for sure. Um, the Austin, the Texas scene is much, not to get, I don't want to get flamed by my New York brethren, but it's much more collegial, I guess I would say. Like
Hmm.
maybe that's changed since I've moved, but like the metal and the hardcore scene in New York was always very competitive.
Mhm.
Um, Probably because there's so many, and it's just that's the nature of growing up there. The speed, the stress of just the New York vibe. It's the people would go see bands almost like this, like, okay, what are these guys doing? All right, are they? I don't know, are they doing? Whereas, like, I came here and everybody was just like, "You guys are great. I'm so glad y'all are coming here, and you should get on the bill with us. Maybe we should tour together." And I was like, that never would have happened in New York back in the day. They would, it was almost too competitive.
Right.
Here it seems like everybody wants to see everybody else do great, and it's awesome. It's just like,
Awesome, man.
yeah, because like you just like, oh yeah, absolutely, hell yeah, y'all are great too. Maybe you should play with us next time. And it's like there's enough room for everybody, and it's really cool. That's the kind of vibe I've noticed here. It's awesome. Yeah.
Cool. Phil, you said that you also moved here long ago. If I missed it, where'd you move
A
from?
Yeah.
long time
So
ago.
yeah. So I grew up in Virginia, in Northern
Oh,
Virginia.
okay.
So
We're East Coast brethren.
so I didn't go to the same high school, but I was kind of, catching, like Darkest Hour, bands like that were playing
Yeah.
like garages and stuff like that back then, right? Like Lamb of God playing smaller shows. So it's kind of like those are kind of shows that I was attending to
Awesome.
back then, kind of like early day, like, yeah, it was just, and there was a hardcore element there, but there was more metalcore.
Hmm.
They had more of a metalcore scene than they did a hardcore scene, I think. Um, and the scene was really kind of sparse, or at least my experience of it was fairly sparse. Because I would have been in my 20s, early 20s, or whatever. Like there was only like one or two clubs that were
Okay.
playing, like where like touring bands would come through, and
Right.
everything else was very DIY. And if you didn't know anybody that knew about the show, like sometimes you miss out on it, right? So there'd be like a flyer somewhere, but if you didn't go and check it out past month, like you'd miss out on the flyer unless you wouldn't have the
Yeah.
location. You wouldn't have, you would just wouldn't know about it. There was no social media and whatnot back then. There was no So it's a lot harder to kind of stay connected, or like, so you either like really in the scene or you're kind of like on the outskirts of it. And I was playing in bands. Um, I played in my first band. It's called Bethlehem. It's really weird
Okay.
spelling. We thought we were really clever. It was an anagram for the bleeding. But it was very,
Oh, okay.
but it was very, you know, Gothenburg style, like at the gates, like very staccato, melodic death,
Oof.
kind of like Fold in Flames, old Soilwork kind of stuff.
Some
Um,
soil work. Now we're talking.
yeah.
Man.
So it was, yeah. So like there was just a lot of everything I was experienced. It was very like metalcore, metal adjacent, melodic, lots of melodic stuff.
Yeah, the metalcore is definitely, for me, mid to late 2000s, Kill Switch and under the Christian metalcore scene really spoke to me. Just, that's just what I got into first. And then obviously it got a little bit harder after that. So, and, and like you said, if you didn't know about the show or you didn't know the band and word of mouth, there's no social media. And I do miss that. Like whenever I throw a show, I print flyers and I go downtown and I fucking paste them up wherever I can. And, I want to get back into the burnt CD era of handing out demos at the end of shows, but I want it to be like a compilation. And I offer this to anybody I talk to. I want to Anthony from Come and Take It Productions and Come and Take It Live. He did this thing called Support Your Scene Volume 1, and there's only one that's ever existed. And it was like 10 bands, 12 songs, and it was just a compilation that was just like a party
Yeah.
favor. And I really think that, you know, as much as we rely on social media to get the word out, I definitely am missing the tangible factor of something like that. And I was going to ask, from all of your knowledge of, like we just talked about, to today's, I guess, internet environment, marketing, stuff. What are you guys doing besides the podcast? What are you guys doing to kind of get people to come to the shows, or are you guys playing certain spots that you like to go to?
Yeah, it's a combination of things. TJ is really kind of our social presence
Wizard.
guy. Yeah,
He's the
he's our
mayor,
social wizard.
basically. He's the mayor of Austin.
Yeah,
I call him the mayor.
TJ's been
Everywhere we
around for a
go,
minute.
everywhere we go,
Yeah.
hey,
he
TJ.
is. TJ
How
is
do you
very
know everybody?
personable. Yeah, he knows everybody, very personal, very sociable,
Yeah.
which is great and fantastic through that kind of thing. Like I'm a little kind of more introverted than extroverted at times, and like I tend to not be on Facebook and Instagram and stuff like that very often nowadays.
It's a
Like,
hellscape. Don't go there.
yeah, so because you're as old as I am, we're both 43, so it's sort of like
Yeah.
we grew up as it came into power, but then it's just sort of like there are times where it's just kind of like, I don't know, I just didn't feel like looking at it this week, right?
Yeah.
Then you can miss out on a whole bunch of stuff. But so he handles a lot of the social presence stuff, and then other than that, it's a lot of word of mouth. We go to a lot of shows, local supporting local.
So
It's
that's it,
important.
man.
So there's actually a lot of good good vibes that came out of the Forebode thing, even before Dave and I joined up, because of TJ, because of Guillermo, because of um, you know all those guys. And it's like, and so when TJ and us started up the Hammerthrone stuff, he already had kind of a network. They'd be like, hey, like we're starting this new project, check it out. That's people like yourself and Chuck and just and he's got contacts in Dallas and Houston, and he knows all these like TX death metal guys.
Nice.
But he never played in a Texas death metal band, but now he does play in a Texas death metal band, so now he can, can reach out this way and that. And so like he sent our EP to the dudes from Tribal Gaze, for example, and they blasted us out on Instagram and whatnot, because they were like, hey, I heard this EP, it's pretty brutal, check it out. Stuff like that. So it's just kind of like local support local in a way. It's just a huge part of it. And not just local within specific scene. Like the scene I think in Austin is very, very diverse and large.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not all metal, right? Like my wife and I love to go check out like Temple of Love, and so you got Steve, who used to play in Destroyer of Light. That's his new band that he's playing in. But they're a little more on like the rock and roll kind of side. But it's all part of the same network.
If
Yeah.
it's good, it's good, man. You know,
Yeah, I am happy that Chuck asked me to do the Texas takeover because I have discovered bands and sounds that I would have never found had I not been seeking it on purpose. And I think a lot of the music today, granted that the algorithms on social media are tailored to you and whatever you like, they're trying to sell you something. I mean, that's all. You are the product. You gotta buy this other product. And here's blah 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 blah. That's why going and searching for these bands and listening to new EPs like you guys put out, the self-titled back in March is just like it blows me away that as as big as Austin is, I'm sorry, as it's a I forget it's a small big city or a big small city.
not
Where
anymore. I think
Small city, big small, I think.
big small.
getting
It,
big.
it's still it's still small enough to where we still have, even though we've lost a lot of good venues over the past years, there's still these really, really intimate settings, these, chess club and it was that sure? Oh, the Lost Well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Valhalla. And as much as I love Come and Take It and they're my sponsor, they don't, I think that place is fucking way too big sometimes for the shows that roll in there, but it's just another place to put on a show. Right. And, wherever the show is being thrown, in my opinion, I don't think it really matters. It's just show up. Just show up and have a good time. Whether it's 50 people or 500, you're there to support. And I appreciate you guys, still continuing to push through and make this music. We got about 10 minutes left. I was going to ask on the new album, question for both of you. Dave, what is your favorite song to play on that new album?
That's funny because when we were in the studio recording it, I was like, man, I was like, Prison of Mind is cool, because as a drummer, it's like there's a lot of cool dynamic stuff that I was able to do. Phil gave me the song, like he played it and sent me some tracks, and I was like, ooh, and it had some programmed drums, and I was like, I would change that up a little bit. So that became fun for me because I was able to kind of construct the song and arrange it from a drum perspective a little different to give it some more cool groove and like sections where it's changed. So that was my favorite for a while. And then when we're in the studio recording, we did Designer of War, and I was like, well, shit, I really like that. I was, I was like, man. So to play, yeah, it's a toss up. Blissful Demise. It's hard to say. I mean, that's the simplest one drum wise, but it hits. So that's almost become my recent favorite because it is just, anytime I can sort of create, shock and awe, just dun, 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 it may not be blasting till the sunrise, but if you can just completely like have the dynamics, that song's got the, I love them all, but that one's probably the last one on the EP. Right now, I'm loving it when we do that because Phil comes in with this, eerie little, all right, what's going to happen? And then I just kick the walls down, with the tom. So that's fun. That's cool.
Just
stuff.
dude, floor toms through the chest.
Yes. Yeah.
What about you, Phil?
For me, I think it's Designer of War. I think is super
it's a
fun to
tough
play.
one. Those two. Yeah.
Prison of Mind has a lot of kind of like has some more intense sections to play. There's definitely like a section kind of in the middle there where my wrist is like, are we done yet? Are we done yet? And they're like, nope.
We're still going, brother.
It's still going. And but then for me the dynamics of Designer of War, I think are really just really the way
when we first did it in the studio and it was played back, I was like, ooh, that's okay.
Yeah, like you get that feeling in your gut. You're like, okay, this is and I like asking that question because you can tell when someone's like into it, especially, obviously live. And you just, because like I said earlier, I'm standing there at the camera, looking up at the guitarist, and it's got this light behind him, and he's looking so majestic, and he's just, and then I'll be like, get the fuck out of the way, I'm trying to get the drummer, and then I have to go all the way around to the back to get some cool shots, and the guy's in there just like, he's in the pocket, he looks over, and there's the camera, and he's like, and because I think it's important that everybody everybody, I want feels seen, but I want people to kind of feel what I feel, and you can see it through the lens and feel it through this podcast and through audio. But I guess it's just an amazing feeling,
Yeah, dude, I played in those bands where like you're on stage and you're clearly playing with some other dudes in the band that like they're kind of like going through the motions at this point because they've been, and it's nothing worse because the crowd feels that, the fans feel that, and that sucks, because I still, to this day, I've been jamming, since the 90s, and every time we go on and the lights come on and they announce us and the crowd's filling in, it's just as fun and exciting as it ever was. I have a great time back there, like somebody said to me, like, man, you look like you're having so much fun, and you're like, you're really into it. Like, is that just a thing? I'm like, no, I'm really into it. Like, otherwise I'm not doing it anymore. Like,
Yeah,
I love it. Yeah, it's awesome.
You're like, no, I'm just doing this for community service.
Yeah,
out of here.
What's worse when you see that sometimes, right? You see guys that are just like,
they're
like,
just,
oh, dude, maybe time to move on.
Yeah. Oh man. Well, guys, I've had an amazing time. I definitely appreciate you guys
We appreciate
hanging
you,
out.
man.
Man,
thanks for having us on.
I'm happy that, I'm continuing to find, new songs and new bands, and not new to me. And hopefully help to spread the word. So closing out, are there any special shout outs, any thank yous, and what are your ats? How can people get a hold of you, like a merch store or your Instagram?
Ooh boy. So we've got Instagram, we've got Facebook. I don't think we actually have much Facebook, or if we do, it's just like the integrated Instagram thing because of like
it's
the
just they're
algorithms
tied,
and all that stuff. Yeah.
We're
So
on
you can get us Bandcamp,
yes.
I think is the big one.
Bandcamp. Thank you.
We currently don't have merch up on there. We do have a bunch of merch, but it's mostly just available at live shows for now.
Tapes,
but that's yeah. But Spotify, Pandora, all those you can stream our music on there.
iTunes,
Bandcamp, iTunes. We don't actually have physical CDs. It's kind of like on purpose at the moment. We have cassettes. We have plans to do some kind of vinyl stuff in the future.
And when you do, put one to the side. I'll purchase one. I've got my vinyl collection and drum heads. That's my thing. CD, I like to just throw a record on, man. And just let it play.
If you ever have a need for old, beat up, sweaty, bloody drum heads, I got them for you.
Dude, I got this one. Oh shit!
Nice. Oh.
Uh-oh.
This is one of my favorite ones. I just picked up from the. Oh god, that screen is gonna not. But it's Life Cycles. Yeah, dude. This was hand drawn, and it's when Life Cycles came through with Silosis.
That's cool, man.
And then I've got.
Yeah, mine won't have those cool drawings on it.
They're all over the place. There's like 30 more back here along with the vinyls. So.
Oh, that's cool, man.
Nice.
Yeah, man. Because they're one of a kind, right? And I get, like for example, this was Jamie's Elsewhere. This is like my iPod came to life right here, and it's like all of these guys, put their signatures here, and this is like the blood, sweat, and tear marks, or you know what I mean? It's man, it's so cool just to look back at that and be like, yeah, I was there, and I lived through that.
Cool.
And man, I just go see a show, everybody. Go see them. Go check them out. Share their flyers. Tell them that you love them. Any way that you can support them. Just go to sleep on YouTube and just let the fucking ad revenue
let it loop.
Let it loop. But anyway.
Hopefully, guys, it doesn't put you to sleep.
Yeah. No, not to go to sleep. Just while, okay. That may have come. I don't know. I go to sleep to some weird shit sometimes, but that's for another conversation. But anyway, guys, thank you very much. Just stick around real quick. Let everything do the upload stuff. Again, my name is Ryan. This is Dave and Phil from Hammerthrone. Their debut EP is out now on all the major streaming platforms, and you can catch them. Can you go over the dates one more time in August?
So we got August 1st at Valhalla. We've got, I want to say like the 24th or 28th.
28th, I think.
It's the end of August at the Black Cat. The flyer doesn't exist, so I'm like, and then we're playing the 13th, floor in Houston, 926.
You can
Got it,
tell we're
man.
masters of marketing. I think
Hey,
we're the
yes.
24th or the
But
28th.
see,
What are we
this
in
is
June?
Maybe.
this is where the elusiveness comes in, and they're like,
Yes.
and now people are like, you know what? I am gonna go to the show. Is it the
Look it up.
28th?
Look
No,
it
yeah,
up.
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
get on the interwebs, as they say. But all right, guys. Well, again, thank you very much. Stick around for a little bit, and everybody else, we'll see you next time.
Appreciate it. Thank you.